think this is a brilliant and creative idea. I was exploring this website, and it's not just, a gimmick line about her. You click on each link, and there are detailed list of Harris's role in the Biden administration, casting the tie-breaking vote for the Inflation Reduction Act, what the expiration of Trump tax cuts would do to the middle class. I mean, they footnoted this, and it's really smart.
This is very smart. This is exactly what they need to do in the campaign. But your real question is, why doesn't she have it on her website? The big word at this convention is joy. There is no joy in her policies. Do you get any joy when you fill up your tank and now you pay so much more for gas? Do you get any joy when you go to the grocery store and you see the price you have to pay when she made the deciding vote for that inflation? Do you get any joy in the border of what we're finding when people are being raped or murdered? Or is there any joy in the young girls crying because they allow men to compete in sports? Why do we think her policies will change? Because the one thing she's campaigning on now is she says she's changing her opinion on everything she's done in her life. So they can't lay out the policies on the own ad. This is smart on Trump. This is the way to run this campaign. And what we have seen time before with Harris, she starts strong and then her campaign fizzles in the end.
Marie, I want to pull something up for you. This is Harris by the numbers, and the big number in each of these categories is 0. 0 primaries won during 2020, 0 primaries in 2024, 0 sit-down interviews that you can see there, 0 press conferences, and the list goes on and on and on. 0 policy pages on the website. That is a whole lot of zeros, and she told us she wants to sit-down interview before the end of August. We've only got a few days.
Well, the numbers we don't have up on the screen are the hundreds of thousands of voters she has been meeting in swing states in these massive events she's been doing all across the country, where she has been talking about her policies, about how they will continue building the middle class, how they will protect freedom, especially for women in healthcare here at home, and how they will stand up to our adversaries around the world, unlike Donald Trump when he cuddles up to Putin. So look, I think you'll hear more about that tonight. I think you'll hear more about that in the coming days. She has been vice president. She has a long record on many of these policies. But I would also remind people that even though she hasn't done all those things that you said, Kayleigh, she has consistently been rising in the polls. She has overtaken Donald Trump in the average of polls across the country and in many swing states. What she's doing is working. People are seeing Donald Trump's message, and they don't want it. And if policies and detailed white papers won elections, Hillary Clinton or Elizabeth Warren would be president. The American people want an aspirational vision for the future. They want to talk about how we're going to protect them at home and protect them overseas. That's what Vice President Harris is giving them. Donald Trump is giving them bitterness, backward-looking, anger, retribution. He is not, and he's still running against Joe Biden. Every time he gets out there and talks, he talks about Joe Biden more than Kamala Harris. So, I think we'll talk about policy, but elections are a lot about how they feel about the country and the candidate, and Kamala Harris is winning that fight right now.
Emily, I think policies do matter in elections. I really do. And I think they matter on September 10th when President Trump's going to share what his border numbers were, what his inflation numbers were, 1.4 versus a height of 9.1%, what his economy looked like. I don't think people are going to be voting based on the celebrities behind me. I agree about aspiration, but people want affordable groceries, a working economy.
Of course, and it's not backward-looking to talk about the realities of the present day. I think it's backward-looking to paint half the country as racist and talk about the 70s. I also think that it's not the detail, it's the caliber, right? Elizabeth Warren didn't win and Hillary Clinton didn't win because everyone hated their policies. It's not because the detail automatically equates to a vote. And the aspirational quality is only important on top of what the policies are. So, for example, last night, when Governor Walz gave 4 weak and flimsy policies, I guess the closest thing you could come to trying to figure out what their policies are now, reducing taxes for the middle class. We've already been taxed up the wazoo. It's called inflation. They haven't even defined the middle class. They keep moving that goalpost. That's why many Americans, the majority of Americans who have 2 jobs and assets, still can't pay their bills. He talked about taking on Big Pharma. I thought Biden already beat Big Pharma, right? He talked about as well. No matter who you are, Kamala Harris is going to stand up and fight for your freedoms. But that's not what's happening because the Democrats want to take away the votes from the people and put it back to the federal government. So the lies continue. But the reality is President Trump has a clear-eyed vision for America that's aspirational on top of the details of policies that worked in his administration and that have failed under Biden-Harris.
Harris.
Look, I just want to mention something in opposition of what Marie Harf said. You know, it is true that they talk about each other. In fact, here at the convention, Trump's name has come up 314 times. So there is some obsession there. And it is true that Trump has been talking about Biden on the stump somewhat. But what really choice is there when you want to talk about policy? And the woman literally has no policy pages and has made no clarity, even on the economics, other than the ones that she borrowed from Trump on tips and taxes, to let people know what she stands for. Of course, you're going to talk about Joe Biden because we've been told by Kamala Harris's campaign that there's no daylight between Biden and Harris, even though there was some miles and some daylight between them here as he took off when the Obamas took the stage, and so did she. I mean, these two were going in opposite directions, Kamala and Joe Biden. But we know that there's no daylight because he also said that she's the last person in the room on the most important issues to the American public. His name, you bet, is going to come up. But it's always hyphenated because they are tied together. So if it's not working in people's lives, don't forget they gave you this as a package deal. Now the lower part of the package is at the top of the ticket. Until she can legislate and prosecute why she has stepped away from Biden and put some replacements in, yeah, I think you mentioned both their names.
Yes.
Because it's been a failure on a lot of issues.
A lot of names behind us. And I do want to note that the reports are Pink will be here tonight, not Katy Perry. So my apologies for mixing up my
People
celebrities.
crying now. What?
Yes.
No,
I
love Pink.
I always mix up my celebrities. All right, well, on to this. The moment that the former President Trump had yesterday at his rally in North Carolina that you will not believe. It's gone viral. Next.